Welcome to Sheepsuit, the home of grazable Christian thought. Today's Brain Graze, my fasting experience. Also, I'm trying out a new sheepsuit today, just to see how a different look looks. First of all, I am absolutely not giving anyone any specific advice as to how to do fasting because we're all different. We have different medical situations. This is not a health and nutrition channel. I am just sharing my experience. Interestingly, I had to fast in order to start this channel. I decided if I was going to get out in a public area talking about Christian stuff, I could not have an ongoing sin in my life, at least what I consider an ongoing sin for me. My conscience had to be clear. And as James, well, really Jacob, wrote, those who teach will incur stricter judgment. If you're teaching as a Christian in any capacity, you incur stricter judgment. It would give one pause for thought. Well, we all stumble in many ways, as James wrote, and I'm not saying that I am without sin, but I decided that when I got the idea for this channel, I had to have ongoing sin out of my life. I needed to get to a certain level of self-control, and one area was food. I've spent most of my adult life just casually being about 20 or 30 pounds over my normal weight. That was a sign of gluttony, or past gluttony at least. Gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins, according to Christian tradition. One of the terrible things about overeating is that beyond a certain point, what I overate stayed on me forever unless I made some effort to get rid of it. That cycle got really old and it seemed to escalate. It seemed that the more I gained, the more I gained, like some sort of escalating process was occurring. Gluttony is basically greed with food. It's eating more than we need to eat. And, you know, we all do that on occasion, maybe much of the time, but there's a time in my mind where I've eaten enough, and I've eaten a little more than enough. Okay, now I'm just being a glutton, okay? Gotta stop. I'm guessing that for most of human history, when food was not so readily available as it is for us in the so-called first world, eating more than one needed may have indirectly caused another to starve. The food that one ate that one didn't need could have gone to one who did need it. And that one could have been in your own village. Remember that so-called Lord's Supper that is recorded in 1 Corinthians where some feasted while others had nothing. I imagine something like that. Also, back in the 1st century, well, before the 1st century, back in that time period, there was a sin in their culture called solitary gormandizing. One place this is mentioned is in 4th Maccabees. Yes, I've read the Apocrypha. Solitary gormandizing is binge eating all by yourself. Now, I'm not really into judging people who are overweight or obese. I've been significantly overweight much of my life and marginally obese at times, and I know how it can sneak up on you. I also remember how much I hated dragging around all that extra weight and how happy I am, how really happy I am to be within my normal weight, not optimal, but normal, and to have my blood pressure readings come out healthy as often as not. The other reason I don't judge others is because judging others takes mental energy, and it's easy to just not care. I'm working out my own salvation, not someone else's. So I started fasting, and I fasted from 1 to 5 days a number of times. I did fast for 5 days several times, but I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not getting any younger, and I'm not sure it is wise for me to do that. But I did discover one thing, and that is that hunger goes away. At least mine did. For those who have never fasted, it might seem that hunger is something that gets worse and worse and worse till it's unbearable. And so since that's the inevitable outcome, why even try? But that did not turn out to be the outcome. Hunger did get worse and worse for a time, but then it started getting less and less and finally went away. It's kind of amazing to not have hunger in your life. But of course, that should not go on indefinitely. So when I thought I'd accomplished enough for a certain fast, I started eating again. By intermittent fasting, I over time managed to take off my excessive weight, about 30 pounds. Fasting to me meant including electrolytes. I have some rather expensive and sophisticated powdered beverage mixes that I mix into water to maintain electrolytes. I did drink really good black coffee good enough so that it didn't need creamer to taste good. I drank some diet soft drinks. Fasting to me wasn't about water only, it was about not food. One thing I did to forget food was to bury my head in things that distracted me. I played a lot of computer games. I still play computer games, the strategic kind, not the first-person fighting or shooting. I am a retired software developer, kind of an old nerd. I like computer games every once in a while. They can also be a tremendous waste of time. But the pounds came off, and now I'm down to my normal weight. To keep my weight normal, I stopped eating refined sugar, fructose, glucose. I gave up cheese. I stopped eating all empty calories like starches and pasta. I gave up oils other than avocado and olive oil. For the last few years, my diet has revolved around almost all just protein and vegetables. I just ate lunch, and that was peas and onions, and sardines and olive oil. That was amazingly good. Not intuitively obvious, but really good. I tend to live on eggs, chicken meat, sardines, broccoli, some other meat in moderation. I build my daily diet almost exclusively on what are called superfoods. I did make an exception for Christmas. I had some high-end chocolates around Christmas and on Valentine's Day because I'm divorced, and I'll get into that some other time. But I generally doubt that I'll be buying anyone anything for Valentine's Day. Anyone but me. So I fulfilled my childhood dreams of buying a box of chocolates and having it all to myself on the day after Valentine's Day when candy is half off. I did not eat it all at once. No solitary gormandizing. And finally, I was once asked if I fasted for health or spiritual reasons, and I replied, well, why can't I do both at once? Do they have to be separate? Do I have to fast once for health and once for spiritual reasons? Fasting for spiritual reasons has a pretty good chance of improving your health if you don't hurt your health while you're doing your spiritual fast. And fasting for healthy reasons, for me, really increased my self-control and my confidence in my ability to exert self-control in my life. And it's really hard to grow spiritually without self-control. So I discovered that fasting is good for me. It got me way healthier than I was. I think it's going to prolong my life. And if I stay disciplined most of the time, every once in a while I can feast and enjoy food, especially around people on special occasions without doing myself any harm. So it all worked out really well. Anyway, that's about it. Keep the wool out of your eyes.